Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of One Take. So, I have a problem. Got you there. I have a lot of problems, but we're going to talk about one today. One specifically that came to light last week as I was crafting a communication to someone and running it past my boss. And that is that I have a different delivery, a different approach, like stark contrast approach, depending if I've had a conversation with somebody or not, or depending on the audience. And it caught me off guard. So, for example, if I'm reaching out to, say, a group or someone I've never spoken to, or on these one take videos, I'm like a walking Brene Brown book of vulnerability and, dare I say, emotional and calmness. Yet, when I'm reaching back out to someone that I've had a conversation with, at times I sound like a Stephen Hawking book. Not that it's bad, but it is dully specific and scientific and very regimental and orderly and just perfected so much that I keep going and going and going until it sounds like, no offense, Mr. Hawking, God rest your soul, a robot or somebody with a voice box wrote it or said it. Now, it had me wondering why. Why is that? Now, typically speaking, when I'm reaching out to a group of people or somebody I've never spoken with, or even on these one takes, there is an air of natural vulnerability. That's tough to act, much less say. Anyway, there is an air of vulnerability there or unknown. And so it's much easier to just be myself and just relay that in my conversation. And yet, when there's something established there, it's almost as if my knowledge and my expectation and my breakdown and my whatever gets in the way of it. I'm thinking more about how is the person going to respond to everything, or how is this going to be taken, or what's the next step after this, that I lose sight of just a general idea of the communication, which is just that communication. Sometimes our knowledge and our history, but more importantly, our brains get in the way. Now, I'm not advocating stupidity or even momentary stupidity. 5 minutes in a car with me, you'll know that ain't my game. I'm the type of person that's thinking ahead 2 or 3 moves, whether I'm driving a car, walking down the street, making something, or crafting a response back to somebody, or at least singing about that response back to somebody. However, that's my problem. Sometimes we have to let the time, the moment, the momentum guide us rather than our experience or our knowledge. Don't believe me? Do a little research on the explosion of Mount St. Helens back, man, it's been quite a few years, or either one of the shuttle disasters. Now, those are obviously, big cases where people died, but they were situations where knowledge and experience actually got in the way of the reality of what was going on, or the fact that they hadn't experienced maybe some of these things. And it led to very, very, very bad results. Now, thankfully, in the sales world, not typically that way, but it can lead to, pun intended, the death of an opportunity or even a relationship if we let our knowledge, our brains, our experience get too much in the way. So think about that next time. And it's interesting because it's something that I typically, if I'm training somebody or talking to somebody, just be yourself. No one can ever say you're doing it wrong. By the way, it's one of my favorite quotes ever. But sometimes ourself is the problem. So next time you're in that same situation, maybe don't think too much on it. Maybe don't think about how the person's going to respond so much and focus on just what you want to say. That's what I go through before these sometimes. It's just talk. Just talk. Just be you, just talk. At least you'll get across what it is you want to get across. And you won't worry so much about how you think they're going to get it. And the reality is that you don't know, but you do know you. Just be you. Let it out there. It's been One Take. Make it a great day.